just over the past 2 years, there has been a push to significantly ramp up heritage in this country.
It's the uniqueness of our heritage that fascinates all who take the time to experience or read about it. We take you on that journey today. I'm Adrian Atkinson and welcome to Jamaica Magazine.
Let's celebrate Jamaica to the world. Fastest man in the world. First Jamaican woman to win gold in Olympic 100-meter sprint. An upcoming global superstar. Mouth-watering meals. And a vibrant set of people. We are Jamaicans. Let's get together and bring back the love. Good day, I'm Andrea Chisholm and this is your JIS News for Thursday, October 8. A comprehensive expansion plan is underway for the Soapberry Sewage Treatment Plant, which offloads wastewater from Kingston, St. Andrew and Portmore in St. Catherine. The plan is being executed by Central Wastewater Treatment Company Limited, operators of the plant. The company's general manager told a recent JIS think tank that the expansion would be done in phases.
Is a three-phase module actually. So phase 1 is the 18 million gallon. We go to a phase 2, which is an additional 18 million gallon, and phase 3, which is 18 million gallons. The total capacity would be 60 million gallons because that is what we estimate or our research has indicated would be the capacity needed to treat with wastewater within Kingston, St. Andrew and parts of St. Catherine.
Approximately $52 million was spent on phase 1 of the project, while $45 million will be spent on phase 2. The Health Ministry is insisting that there is currently no need to close every school that has been affected by the hand, foot and mouth disease. As at October 5, there were 438 cases of the disease within 144 schools.
I would like to point out that some schools have reported just 2 cases and some even a single case of the illness. With this in mind, Mr. Speaker, it would not have been practical for us to close every school that reported cases. In fact, the acceptable standard is to close where 10% or more of the school population is affected.
The Health Minister told Parliament, however, that the ministry would continue to monitor affected schools. Symptoms of the hand, foot and mouth disease include fever and blisters in the mouth or on the skin. Dr. Ferguson is urging parents to keep infected children at home and limit close contact such as hugging, kissing, or sharing eating utensils. Persons are also encouraged to wash their hands regularly, sanitize toys and frequently touched surfaces, and generally practice good hygiene. Government says the proposed prisoner transfer arrangement with the United Kingdom may be the only short-term solution to address the poor conditions in penal institutions given the country's tight fiscal space. National Security Minister Peter Bunting says the main reason for considering the proposal is to ease overcrowding and improve rehabilitation efforts in correctional institutions. At Wednesday's Jamaica House media briefing, he pointed out that 60% of inmates were between ages 18 and 35 and serving sentences from 3 months to 3 years.
That's not hardened criminals when you're looking at those sentences. Those persons may become hardened and bitter by the time they've completed their sentences in the conditions that we hold them under.
Minister Bunting's comments follow a proposal for Jamaica to accept £30.5 million from Britain to build a new prison and assist with rehabilitation efforts if Jamaicans in UK prisons get to finish their sentences in Jamaica. Those prisoners would have already been scheduled for deportation to the island. A special select committee of Parliament will decide if the proposal is feasible. Government is asserting that it has no intention of changing the current arrangements governing the use of the voter identification system. The statement comes amidst recommendations for a national ID system which carries demographic and other data that could help the police in their criminal investigations. National Security Minister Peter Bunting says while the current voter identification system carries such data, when it was being established, a commitment was given to only use it for electoral purposes. Minister Bunting adds that no administration can unilaterally change that policy. And finally, the United Nations Population Fund UNFPA has developed an integrated strategic framework to drive the reduction of adolescent pregnancy across the Caribbean. Director of the Sub-Regional Office Sheila Rousseau made the disclosure during a recent JIS think tank. She revealed that 20% of women in the region have had at least one child by the age of 19, with a considerable percentage of adolescent girls giving birth before the age of 15.
The goal of this framework is to reduce adolescent pregnancy by 20% by the year 2019.
The framework was developed in consultation with CARICOM member states and consists of 5 priority areas, namely access to responsive sexual reproductive health services, information and commodities, access to age-appropriate sexuality education, provision of parenting skills, developing social protection mechanisms for the prevention of all forms of violence against adolescent girls, and legal standards to prevent adolescent pregnancies. And that's it for JIS News today. Amanda Chisholm, thank you for watching.
Nutritious food, succulent dishes, superior workmanship, and excellent service. Jamaica is on the go. Let's grow what we eat and eat what we grow. Let's harness the indomitable spirit of our most valued resource, our people. Let's support our local businesses. After all, buying Jamaican means building Jamaica.
The Ministry of Youth and Culture has launched a public awareness campaign to highlight the importance of World Heritage Sites and their protection. The details were outlined by Minister Lisa Hanna and her team at a recent JIS think tank. Chief among the preservation sites is the Blue and John Crow Mountains. Let's join that conversation.
What we are doing today is saying to the country that there will be a massive public awareness campaign which will strategically take 2 forms. One is a media campaign which we're launching to let persons understand what is World Heritage and what goes into having a World Heritage site and the protection of it. And that will surround also the entrepreneurship opportunities for the local communities, as well as what needs to be done to protect the environment. The second part of that strategy is the community and local engagement, because the site is a large site, and the site is not only a heritage site, but it's also a cultural site. It's a mixed site because of the Maroon influence. So it's been designated really under World Heritage as a mixed site. So we have to engage the local persons who are there, the Maroons, the community members, not only in the site but around, to have them understand the importance of protecting the site so that it does not become endangered.
We speak about the Nannytown Cultural Heritage Route. Remember, the site is linked to the Maroons themselves, and a lot of these archaeological sites that are spread over the vast area of the Blue and John Crow Mountains includes battle sites, places of refuge. It includes a series of trails. So we have said to UNESCO, look, this is one of the features of this outstanding universal value. So we have to ensure that these sites, some that are known and not known, are preserved. We have to ensure that the trails, the peak trails and the other trails used by the Maroons are also preserved.
The protection of the environment is a seminal piece of this public awareness campaign. We have to say to people, there are things that you now cannot do if you're going up there. And so we have the brochures, etc., which speak to learning more. We point you to the websites, the telephone numbers that you can call. You are not to litter around the property. You cannot cut down any trees in the property. You cannot kill any of the wildlife in the property. You cannot light fires in the property. You can't do any of that. You have to protect the sanctity of the site.
One of the main activities
that we're going to be looking at is the actual launch of the World Heritage Site. Since we have been inscribed on July 3, we have not officially launched that site. So that is going to be done on October 30. And the proposed area for this is within the vicinity of the Nanny Falls in Moortown. Another major initiative, we were asked to assist with the screening of the documentary film that was recently completed by 2 Jamaicans who are living overseas, who incidentally are of Maroon heritage. So they have put a lot of work into doing this 1-hour documentary film, and it is called Queen Nanny Legendary Chieftainess. And that is going to be launched at the United Nations headquarters in New York, October 19, that's on Heroes Day. And we will have the Jamaican screenings at the UWI on October 23. And a screening is also scheduled for Moortown on October 24.
Over the past 2 years, there has been a push to significantly ramp up heritage in this country. So under the Ministry of Youth and Culture, we really have positioned our museums. We have redone Seville. We now have a National Gallery in the West. We have a museum in the West in the Cultural Center down there. We're breaking ground for a Natural History Museum this year. We've opened the Simon Bolivar Museum. And so this is another push that we have really actively been engaged in because we wanted to get a World Heritage Site. The Ministry of Tourism is upgrading Port Royal. The JUTC now has bus tours for heritage. And so what you will see over the next couple of months is a real thrust to have Kingston be anchored in terms of heritage tourism.
Jamaica, make we keep it clean. Start with your own surroundings. Store your garbage the right way. Store all your garbage in bags, including stale or spoiled food. Double or even triple the number of bags you use to put your garbage in. Tie your garbage bags tightly before you leave them outside. When you put your garbage out, don't leave it on the ground where animals can get at it. If your garbage has not been collected for more than a week, call the NSWMA at 1-888-CLEAN-JA. That's 1-888-253-2652. You may also send a free Please Call Me text message to 448-3220 or 386-1080. Come on, keep your place clean. Keep Jamaica clean.
Some of us are not even clear of the real role the Maroons have played in our history and in our present day, everyday norms that we do as Jamaican people.
That's why we put together this feature for you, which highlights some of the customs of the Maroons.
The sound of the abeng, the infectious beat of the drum, the effortless moves of the hips.
Welcome to Charleston Maroon Community.
They have been here for centuries, inheriting cultural expressions, a lifestyle that continuously mesmerizes locals and foreigners alike.
That the history of the Maroons, we show them. They show them and how proud they are at their history. It's very interesting to see how they survive for the British.
Jamaican Maroon descendants have a rich history, freedom, self-sufficiency, pride, the warrior spirit, family, spirituality. It is a legacy they mean to preserve for their children and children's children. A journey to Charlestown, one of Jamaica's major Maroon communities, reveals this cultural continuity in the architecture of the town.
Even though the entrance is small, this is where the Maroons would escape when being chased by the British.
Thatched roofs are still there, if not quite for dwelling purposes anymore. Living off the land is a Maroon staple. Today, subsistence farming remains a preoccupation for both the men and women in these communities. Passed down through the generations, self-sufficiency for the Maroons means survival. Being independent is indispensable.
The thrust of the Maroon Council under my tenure is to really use the culture, the heritage, what our foreparents left us, what our ancestors left us, to drive economic development. And it's been rewarding because really and truly so much is happening. We have a Safo Yard, which you will see, we have a museum.
In Charlestown, Safo Yard embodies a consciousness of the economic value in preserving and showcasing the Maroon culture. So young, old, men, women, all play a part in teaching visitors what it means to be a Maroon, yesterday, today, and tomorrow.
It's all right. Down here is a nice spot. We're going to clean it up. We have a sound system. We're going to play music and try to do something of our own. We're heading towards building up a proper kitchen, a proper bathroom, storeroom and everything. Further on, we need 2 rooms that people can come, and if they don't want to go back home at the same time, they can have it to rest.
Food and drink is important to the Maroon way of life. The intricacies of jerking a wild hog on pimento wood must be done deftly. And for those wanting a taste of this culinary culture, the people of Charlestown are preserving their unique talents through a food and winemaking company and Riverside Lounge.
When we do have people that make buster, it's showing entrepreneurship, people who want to own their own business.
How about a paki stuffed with bami, pork, callaloo, or even seasoned ackee, packaged and ready for sale? And then there's the practice of concocting juices from available food items.
It's good because even the men, they had 2 special wines that they come for, peanuts and cool.
Education in a Maroon village is something that takes place both within and outside the community. Many children are sent into the wider Jamaican community for schooling. When they return home, parents and grandparents are there to impart the knowledge of their African ancestry. The children, some of whom are given African names, are taught how to cook on wood fire, dance to the rhythm, and use the drums for not only entertainment purposes, but more importantly, as a means of communicating. Hard work and education are crucial, but so too is recreation, like relaxing by the river. Maroons in today's society are definitely not evading their culture. The Maroons then and their descendants now are embracing their culture. 14-year-old Shamara Smith is proud of her background and readily makes herself available to be trained as a tour guide.
I'm quite comfortable being a Maroon. Yeah, I feel good. I'm proud about my culture. It's good because it kind of helped me in school. When I do history, I kind of go ahead of the class.
Here is some information. If you think Maroon is in your family root, check out these surnames.
Life is all about making decisions, choosing from a number of options to do a particular thing, which may result in a specific outcome.
It can be difficult, but there are 4 things you can do to help make that decision.
Stop. Check out what's happening and remind yourself to think before acting.
Think. Make sure you're aware of the choices, all the advantages and disadvantages. Then think about the consequences.
Act. Choose the best option and do something about it.
Review. Finally, review what you have done and determine if it was good or bad. That way, you'll be in a better position to make the next decision, whether big or simple.
Our conversation has been on the protection and preservation of our culture and heritage, but we shift the focus now to another important topic, the protection of software applications to safeguard against cyber attacks.
Protecting your business goes far beyond securing the physical structure. It involves more than just securing goods and other assets inside the building. In this day and information age, locking your doors and hiring security personnel alone won't cut it. If you're like most businesses today, using electronic databases, doing e-commerce, an invasion by unauthorized persons could put a temporary or permanent halt to your business.
We all know what happens if when a breach happens, and sometimes you can never recover. It destroys life, information is compromised, or information is destroyed.
Today, we're talking about software protection and providing you with the information you need to better protect sensitive data. Your website has been hacked, your information stolen. You immediately think it's a weakness in your network. But according to research from the U.S. National Institute of Standards, 92% of all security breaches occur because of application or software vulnerabilities and not network vulnerability. In simple terms, here's what that means. This is your data. This is the application or software used to protect it. This is your network that is used to coordinate and carry out activities, and this is your business. Now, experts say your data becomes exposed when unauthorized persons or hackers get past your network and reach your software system.
Take, for example, a bank. And if this bank, who we entrust with our confidential information, coming through the front door of the bank, certainly need to protect that. Getting past the teller, certainly need to protect that. But imagine now you get the information about you and I. This is the area we are concentrating on.
And rightly so, because this level of breach and exposure of not only customers' private information, but information on the operation of your business can potentially cost you revenue, lead to a bad reputation, and loss of confidence. Having a well-secured software system then is a must. The best way to get the process started and achieve tangible results is to construct a security gate. This is an added reinforcement around your software, making it harder for intruders to get in.
There are some key building blocks that you need to have in your program suite to ensure that person does not get access to your programs and be able to easily manipulate them. And those are really stringent programming steps.
This gate will give you a true test of the strength of your security measures. It will also highlight security threats before they happen. Program developers play a critical role in the setup of software systems, and experts tell us that their job is not to focus solely on the usability, so proper training is important.
A big part of our educational process here is to kind of shatter those assumptions and get an orientation towards thinking about how an attacker thinks. They have a completely different view of these applications. Their view is completely different. They're looking not for functionality, but for vulnerabilities.
At a recent government-endorsed Secure Software Development Lifecycle Training Seminar, young professionals were brought up to speed with global and national threats and how to incorporate advanced technology in their applications.
It's important at all times as ICT professionals that you always upgrade the skills that you have and you ensure that you are at the cutting edge in terms of not just local developments but global developments. And certainly in an industry which changes as rapidly as this one does, it is even more important to be at the forefront of the industry.
Seminar participants were also given a refresher on the dangers of complacency, the risks for businesses and individuals who relax and think their network is safe.
Let me give you a really good example. The most common password used today is password. The second most common password is 123456. And so as a developer, if you assume that somebody's password is secure and yet you've got a significant portion of your users using the same password, i.e. password, then that provides an open door for an attacker to use those accounts to attack your system.
The internet has revolutionized how we operate in the world, right? And what it has done is that bad and good. It has created all this window of opportunities and a window to your business. But what it allows easily now is someone to come to your website and to gain access from that website to your core business software that run in the business.
And so, organizations, especially state entities, are encouraged to build an awareness among staff and their key stakeholders to build and coordinate security measures with their ICT partners.
We need for persons, I said it before, that at the CEO level to understand that there are real dangers in how persons can get access to data, especially in the public sector. I mean, if you think of it, the Registrar General Department, the Passport Office, all of these agencies are critical. If persons breach them, the ports, then we can have serious problems nationally. And we need to have a heightened awareness of all the possibilities of danger that is out there.
With this in mind, government has taken steps to amend the Cybercrimes Act to include harsher punishment and make provisions for offences that are similar to cybercrimes.
In addition to that, we have established a cybercrimes task force, which is comprised of both government and private sector players. We are working with the International Telecoms Union to establish a cyber emergency response team.
With government playing its part, it's now up to you to ensure that you constantly evaluate your software security and create a plan for long-term protection. Don't be caught napping. Get software security conscious. Protect your business.
October 12 is the start of Heritage Week, and we invite you to take some time to visit the different cultural sites to learn more about our heritage. In the meantime, stay connected with us. Your options include our website, jis.gov.jm, our Twitter and Facebook pages. And we still read emails. The address is jamaicamagazine@jis.gov.jm. I'm Adrian Atkinson. On behalf of the entire production crew, walk good.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.